Good morning, listeners and viewers and everyone else. Jalf,
Good morning, Ammar.
been a long time.
Yes, it has.
I've hurt my eye. I've got a. Have you ever had a sty in your
Oh,
eye?
yeah, yeah. You need to hot compress it, Ammar.
Yeah.
Not like that, man. You need to get a towel, get a bowl, put some hot water in, and then just hot compress it, and it'll soften it, and eventually it'll break it down, and it'll go away.
Yeah. I've never ever had it. How do you get one?
Well, hot compress, you just how do you get it?
No, man.
It's got lots of
How do you get a
well, it's
sty?
germs, isn't it? You're just full of germs, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what
What?
it is.
That's what is it? Someone
Yeah.
was saying it was stress or something like that. As
Nah, it's just germification, man. There's like lots of bugs going around at the moment, isn't there? It's just that time of the year.
yeah, but I like walk around with this all the time. It's like, I drink it.
Oh, well,
As
you
a
know,
thing.
you bathe in it, don't you? I'd never put any of that stuff on. I think that's where the germs are. That's where the germs are. It's in them things.
Anyway, good morning, listeners and viewers. You're listening to Ammar and
Jaff.
live on our weekly radio show right here on Spice FM.
Each week we'll try and bring some views, news, and one or two clues from the business world.
Asian Business Connections aims to connect, support, and promote the Asian and wider communities.
And we'll be talking shop quite literally, not just corner shops. Whether you look to start a business, have an existing business, or you just want to talk business, we can help.
We can help, and we do help. Yeah. 7th of November, Jack.
Mm. The year's gone, isn't it? Unbelievable. Just starts and then you get to November. It just goes so fast.
Yeah. I was um I mean, I was looking at Bitcoins, Jeff,
Uh-huh.
only because I was looking at some correspondence from 2009,
Uh-huh.
right, when they were first sort of came out, and there was two or three people there who at that time had like 900,000 Bitcoins, and they were worth like 0.0.099 whatever. So it was like probably a hundredth of a penny or something like that, if that. And if you had that many now, there'd be like all of a sudden billions.
Mm.
Funny, isn't it? A space of like that period of time. You think to yourself, like 15 years, if
Yeah.
you'd invested, even in not in 900,000, but if you'd invested in 1,000,
Mm.
you'd have £10 million.
Yeah. I mean, and then if you've got that, it's a value of 10 million. So how do you transfer that into monies into your bank? Can that be done or not?
Yeah, so there's a marketplace, isn't there? There's like actually you can buy bitcoins, you can sell them, and you can trade in them, and a number of banks now have accepted them, mainstream banks, investment houses, uh, and such like.
Mm.
So anyway, pointless looking back and thinking about the like things. It's just curious to see, like even now, Jeff, if you look at a couple of years back, they'd dropped down to sort of 12,000.
Mm.
Not that long ago,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 12,000. It's now trading at around about 112.
Really? Oh my God.
Yeah, that's my point.
It's quite it fluctuates quite a lot then, does it?
Yeah, it does incredibly. But I mean, it's like anything, isn't it? It's like you need to get it when it's at the bottom and get out when it's at the top, as
Mm.
opposed to the other way around.
Mm. But I think
But
I was listening to an interview, Ammar, the other day, and they were talking about monies and the economy and the impact of this new central digital banking system and A, B, C, and D. That all seems to be around the corner. The digital euro and A, B, C, and D. And apparently, all of the nations are um, secretly buying as much gold as possible. Um,
oh, they are. Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
like like apparently there's been like commercial flights that have been cancelled because of the movement of gold, where it's going from like this country to that country, A, B, C, and D. And they
Mm.
reckon that the reason why that is that they reckon that before 1973, the Bretton Woods Agreement, where your money's in your bank, it used to be connected or tied into gold, and they kind of lost that because it was beneficial to the bankers, I guess, because they didn't have to underpin it with gold, so that they were a lot freer to use our money to invest and borrow to other people, A, B, C, and D. But they reckon that that's going to make the new financial system, whatever it is, whether it be the BRICS system, which the the Brazil, China, India, Russia, South Africa, and a lot more other countries, they're heavily into this BRICS, and they're going to have their own monetary system. They reckon that's going to be underpinned with gold, and as soon as they make an official announcement, they reckon that the value of gold could go up like similarly, it could go up by hundredfold to where it is at the moment. That was just a
Yeah.
prediction by them. Imagine that madness. It could be like a Bitcoin situation,
It could be
a Bitcoin situation where it's at a very reasonable price, and then all of a sudden it could just go up by not just like by twofold or threefold, but they say that it could be like mega, because that becomes the form of money that the bigger countries are trading in, and that's what it's underpinned by. And
mm.
maybe that's why all of the countries are now buying gold relentlessly, because they want to make sure that they've got enough of it, something which is going to be the next part of the new financial system that they're looking at.
Yeah, I agree. Um, it's I mean the whole world's gone to hot again, and we've talked about this. Is what it is. But
I think we're
yeah,
just
I
in a very transformative era, aren't we, Omar? I think
yeah,
in the next like 4 or 5 years, there's going to be changes that is going to be generational, and I just got a terrible feeling that the new world that we find ourselves in 5 to 10 years' time is going to be a lot worse than the one that we're living in today. And that's a bit sad, isn't it? When the powers that be should be battling to make the world a better place.
yeah. I mean the polarization is crazy, isn't it? Um, and people um, just being so divided.
Mm.
It's just mad, isn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, if you look at, I, I found it really curious, and I do find this a little curious. I'm trying to understand it a little bit as well. Is if you're a Christian or a Hindu or a Sikh or a Jewish person or a Buddhist or a Catholic or like that is never ever featured. But as soon as somebody is a Muslim,
Yeah.
it's like a headline news. It's almost Muslim mayor of New York, Muslim mayor of London, Muslim this, Muslim that. And it was the last well done to the mayor of New York. I think it's brilliant. I don't think he got elected because he's a Muslim. I think he got elected because he's probably a good guy who hopefully is going to make a difference. And that's the bit that I sometimes, not just sometimes, even more so now dwell on. The fact that there is never a mention of any other religion when it comes to any you know, views. But as soon as you know, someone is a Muslim, it's
Yeah.
like, odd, isn't it?
Well, it is. I think it's not by chance. It's
Yeah.
been done deliberately. Look, it's been done for a very, 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 very long time, and I think it's a long history. There's a lot of reasons why that's the case, and it's probably too depth and it's probably too deep to go in our show. But it's been a coherent plan for over 100 years, and I think with the media the way that it is at the moment, they're trying the absolute best to um, demonize Muslims, um, and they want the mass population to view Muslims in a particular way. The only thing that I would say to counter all of that, I think when you meet the day-to-day public, they're just too the human heart is just too good and too kind for the most members of the public for them to be brainwashed by the hype in the media because
Mm.
you feel it on the ground that, that there's a lot of kind, beautiful hearts who are just look at humans as opposed to wanting to brush them with a particular stereotype. So I think, regardless of the billions that's spent with the media, to really go and corrupt the human heart of most is not an easy thing to do because people do still have a lot of beautiful traits within them. So I think, that's my perspective on it all.
Mm. Yeah. Um, anyway, it's I'm not being dismissive of it. I just feel as if you're right. It's too big of a debate to contemplate and consider on this particular show, but it definitely needs some consideration. It's like there's a, there's a real divide and there's a real concerted campaign against um, anyone
It's massive.
who
It's massive.
who who is declares themselves to be a Muslim, and then sadly it prevents people from being their authentic self, doesn't it? Is that not what it then leads to?
I don't know. I think well, people have got their identity, and why would you change your identity because of someone in the media trying to create a particular perception of yourself? I think the responsibility on yourself is to be who you are and go and show off the goodness and the values that you have as a Muslim, and you just go and continue that instead of trying to curb that because it's all it's all Islam in its purity is all about a peace. It's it's a very beautiful religion, but there's lots of groups there that don't look at it in a purified version, and they've got the all crazy version like the Al Qaeda's and A, B, C, and D. So people, like I said, people are gonna have to be able to distinguish um, righteousness from and what's pure against what's been created and manipulated. It doesn't help when the likes of Elon Musk and you know world's potentially the world's first trillionaire with very powerful platforms with X and A, B, C, and D is pushing his particular agenda really really hard. Um, and it's interesting how it can have an impact on society, but I think society have to be better. Society have to be who they feel for themselves, and look at life from an honest perspective as opposed to a skewed one based on a lot of noise that's out there in lots of different mediums.
Yeah, I agree. Um, it's a bit sad when you have such significant leaders influencing um, views. Uh, um, Anyway, let's get back to business, and it is business. And interestingly, it is, he's been given a pay rise, hasn't he? He's been given the board of Tesla have approved Elon Musk's wage um, to help make him a trillionaire because because otherwise he's going to leave.
Yeah. When you talk about the sums of money, Ammar, a trillionaire, I mean, that's like one man can have more money than countries. Isn't that just crazy?
Yeah. Yeah, it is, but at the same time, I suppose, conversely, if he's making that much, it's like, the Tesla boss, Elon Musk, has had a record-breaking pay package that could be worth nearly $1 trillion approved by shareholders. The unprecedented deal was approved by 75% of votes and drew huge applause from the audience at the firm's annual general meeting on Thursday. Musk, who is already the world's richest man, must drastically raise the electric car firm's market value over 10 years. If he does this and meets various targets, he will be rewarded with hundreds of millions of new shares. The scale of the potential payout has drawn criticism, but Tesla board argued that Musk might leave the company if it was not approved and that it could not afford to lose him. Following the announcement, Musk took to the stage in Austin, Texas, and danced to chants of his name. What we're about to embark on is not merely a new chapter of the future of Tesla, but a whole new book, he said. Other shareholder meetings are snooze fests, but ours are bangers. Look at this. This is sick. I suppose it's like a movie show, isn't it? It's so
Yeah.
dramatic. But at the same time, when you've got that much money,
Mm.
uh, should he be allowed to have that attitude, that approach?
Well, I think it's a new world, isn't it? It's what it is. People of normally in those responsible positions, you would have expected them to conduct themselves in a particular way, but obviously, I think they're not exactly pious men, gentlemanly. It's not like the all British or the all English gentlemen and the way that they would carry themselves on stage. It's changed a lot.
It has. It certainly has, Jalf. Yeah. So in any event, I have probably a slightly different view to people's standard views, which is if someone's bringing real value, right, and they are reasonable, legitimate targets, then should people not be rewarded accordingly?
Well, yeah, I think so. But I mean, can someone have something I mean, if you imagine that it's his job to create a £1 trillion company and they've got X amount of power and they decide to exercise the power, they can just go into countries and say to them, right, you either take Tesla or I'm going to take Twitter away from your country. I'm going to take the internet away from your country. I'm going to take Starlink away. Take Tesla cars as your sole electric vehicle. And people are going to be put in positions where, oh my God, I don't have a choice. I have to take Tesla. So I think is that likely to happen? Yeah, I'm sure it is it's gonna happen because you've got that amount of power. It's a monopoly, isn't it? What happened to the Monopoly Mergers Commission and all of that? Are they not gonna want to conduct business in a fair way? So I think when someone so powerful is in that position, given that task, I just can't see everything being done in with fair market forces.
Hmm. Yeah, which is which is a fair comment and observation, if that was ever to happen. There's nothing to suggest that is happening. And it just feels, going back to the point that I made, it's almost like a movie, that all of the things that were in movies are now happening in real life, aren't they, Jeff? I mean, that's it's like what you see is what you be. You know, is what's happened to the world, hasn't it? If you look at, I mean, I don't know what this traitors show thing is. Do you know what the traitors show thing is?
I've heard someone mention the other day at the match that, oh, you got to watch this reality. I don't know, whatever traitor. To be honest, I don't know much about it. But if you're trying to glorify being a traitor, then that's not cool, is it?
Well, no, this is, I mean, that's an example, isn't it? As in, going back to the Jeremy Kyle shows, going back to, I mean, I was reflecting on this, as growing up, and I'm not just talking about being a young child, being in my teens as well. If someone kissed on the telly, you'd look away, you'd be embarrassed, you'd turn the thing off, turn it over. And it wasn't just a cultural or a religious thing. Actually, my soon-to-be 13-year-old son follows that same principle. And I really admire, I look at him because, and I go, that's such a lovely trait that he sat with his dad. And if anyone's, and they're doing some of the things that you watch that are for 12-year-olds, they're a bit more liberal, aren't they, than they were for 18-year-olds. There was like, it's ridiculous. But my point being is, it's crazy because on the one hand, we are complaining about how people are as abusive or as sort of pervasive or whatever that is. And then on the other, we're showing all of these things on television. Thank you, Elizabeth. We're showing all of these things, right? Whether it's, naked dating, whether it's this, that, or other, whether it, all of these things we are, exposing people to. And then we complain that, people are doing all of these things. It's like, is that not a pure contradiction?
Well, I think the way that society is heading, I just think it's mad. It's completely crazy, and you can't just take the entire nation with you, because this is, again, it's part of a plan, isn't it? I think, look at how open society has become. I think it's just I just think it just doesn't lend itself for young. Why did he have like movies that were 18, 15, 12, A, B, C, and D? Is that all out the window now? Or the parameters of what should be cast as only suitable for those that are 18 years old? It's all changed so much. And I just think, who's making those decisions? Because why are you changing society so fast? Because it shouldn't be the case. And it seems as though that there's a massive push against protectionism that there used to be, even on classifications for movies. What was, the watershed after 9:30, you were exposed to A, B, C, and D, and everything's, you could watch an advert at 4 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, and you're like, oh my God, what is this? It's just crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy is what it is. Anyway, here's the headlines, and this is interesting, Jeff. Some of these headlines. Small exporters left behind as larger firms surge ahead. The British Chamber of Commerce has warned that the UK is developing a two-tier export economy, with micro businesses being left behind as larger firms benefit from new trade agreements. Only 16% of micro exporters reported sales growth in the latest quarter, compared with 42% of larger exporters, highlighting a widening gap. While big firms are beginning to feel the benefits of improved market access, smaller businesses are struggling with barriers such as complex paperwork, higher compliance costs, and limited export support. The BCC is calling for urgent government action, including simpler processes, better practical guidance, and stronger on-the-ground support to ensure SMEs can take advantage of global opportunities. As International Trade Week begins, the focus is on whether the government strategy will finally deliver meaningful improvements for the UK's smallest exporters. So given the work that we're doing, you can see that, you can feel it. People are like really struggling. We've got this free port in Teesside, and even now, after months of activity and investment, it's like such a challenge to try and navigate processes, procedures, compliance, and all of that. It's crazy. But this is AI, Jalf. OpenAI strikes 38 billion deal with Amazon to supercharge AI computing power. I definitely think part of societal changes and transformation is and has been driven by technology. There's been like more technological changes in the last 20, 30 years than there has been in the last 300.
100%. The last 10 years even, Ammar.
Yeah.
It's and the next 10 years is going to be the scariest of them all.
It is. So we've developed AI training now, Jalf, for businesses just like yours, where you can practically implement it to improve efficiencies so that the monotonous, mundane tasks you can automate, and then you concentrate your efforts and your staff efforts in true customer experience. And that's where you see the differentiator. So people are, it's like, okay, can you introduce AI to a barber shop? Well, actually, you can. There's a number of principles that you can do which would improve the customer experience. And even some of the things, some of the things can, you'll laugh. Well, you won't laugh, but you and I have spoken about over the years, right? And can you remember the app that we started looking? Well, I started looking at, and I was just talking to you about, which was, it was whereby customer could choose where they want to sit. They could choose the food in advance. There'd be a picture of them before they came into the restaurant, and you'd greet them with, "Oh, hello, Mr. Smith. We know what your allergies are. We've actually placed your order in advance," and you can do like AI enables you to do all of that. You can even see, if you can even go so far to say and see. If there's a delay with tables, notifying them in advance, automating that. It is brilliant. It is brilliant. And whilst I signed up to ChatGPT, pretty much I was one of the first 100 million people to sign up to the paid model. So I've had it ever since. And now I've got 5 different GPTs that I use, and I use them every single day for a variety of different tasks. And it's not about, am I getting lazy? I have to train it, I have to teach it. I still do a lot of activity. In certain circumstances, I probably spend more time going back and forth than it would take me personally to do certain things, to teach it and train it. But once it is brilliant. And now that it's integrated into emails, booking systems, variety calendars, like you name it, we've got that integration. It is amazing.
Well, it's the way that everything's going, and you and I are not going to be in a position to change anything. We just have to go with the flow, really, don't we?
Well, you do, and it's about, and look, it's never going to replace people. So there's a real concern around, well, not right now. Terminator's coming. There's no question about that. I don't doubt that the machines will take over. Whether that happens in our lifetime, Don't know, possibly, but they will take over. That is going to happen. But anyway, and you heard it here first on Spice FM, allegedly. And we have to have a balance. Humans will still exist, I think. Don't know. Anyway, I do think people need to equally understand and appreciate it, right? On how it can be deployed and what things it can and can't do. There's a whole range of things that it can't. And you still need to understand your business model. You still need to understand and capture your business processes. And it's a tool. And that's the way you need to look at it. It's a tool. It's not an overarching solution to everything. So some people will sit and go, it can do everything. It can replace you and whatever else. I don't think it can. I don't think it will. And certainly in your environment, it can't cook yet. Yet.
No, but I've seen a robotic tandoor chef, Ammar, and he was like getting the dough, and he was like, never getting tired, and he was making the dough exactly the way it should be done. So I think I could do with a couple of them.
I'll sort it out. I actually know the people. I know the people who created the robots and got the robots, and they're doing a lot in agri-tech, so in the farmers' fields and everything else, and they're picking. So they're picking all the crops. And one of the biggest challenges in crop picking, right, isn't just people getting tired and legally how long can you get people going for. It's the damage that's done to certain things when you're picking them, right? So if you pick, you can bruise things, if they drop and whatever else. Well, a robot's never going to get tired, works 24/7, and will take a consistent approach every single time. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And it's the same with, so your marketing, Jalf, I can rest assured, right? I can come in, I can deploy the agents that we've got, the AI agents, to do your marketing, improve it every single day, and continue working 24/7, developing, deploying, automating, posting, doing all of that. They can handle all of your bookings. In fact, there's even telephone AI agents now that I've been exploring that say, hello, you'd like to take a booking? Yes, we'll take your booking. I'll schedule it in. No problem. Is there any? And they'll consistently ask the same question. So you'll never forget, do you have any allergies? Oh, did I remember to ask that? Oh, was it this time or was it that time? The challenges. So all of these things, Jalf, are transformative, and they will give the customer a better experience, right? Because someone's not going to go, oh, one second, I've just got to get the door. Oh, 1 second, I've got to, all of those things are gone. So automation of a lot of your back office systems and services, it's brilliant. And we've got all of the AI agents, and I'm talking about hundreds of pounds, not thousands, hundreds of pounds of initial capital cost, right, to deploy these agents on an annual cost, and that's it. And there's 12 agents that you can deploy. It's brilliant, brilliant. So why wouldn't you do it? Is the thing. Not like, why wouldn't you?
Look, it is the way that everything is going. I just feel that if there's ever a global electric blackout, for whatever reason, because the amount of power the world needs to have AI everywhere, apparently some of the power networks are underground because it needs to be kept cooled, and A, B, C, and D. I mean, it's to power up the world, Ammar. It's huge, isn't it? So I just, are we not becoming more? Is there not so many other vulnerabilities?
Absolutely.
That this is also going to bring. And then what if we get so far where there's no cash, there's all electric money, and systems break? Like, how do you actually function as a society? in that world.
I think your concerns are incredibly valid, and you're right. The problem or the challenge, or in fact, some people might say the opportunity is things are already going this way. It's like sadly we're already dependent. If there was a blackout right now, you couldn't open your restaurant.
Well, you still could. Well, if there's electric and gas, you
Well,
still
no,
could.
a blackout. If there's no electric, you can't open your restaurant.
Well, yeah, of course not. In that instance,
So,
yeah. So
that's it. So it's exactly the same principle,
yeah,
isn't it?
I guess it is, but I guess you're looking at electric as in to power for heat and light. It's one type of power, but then obviously the power of cyber in terms of your everything kind of technological. I guess that's slight. Although I appreciate it's all electric, but I'm just thinking that if there's a technological blackout today, you could still just about survive it. The payments might be an issue. People have to go to cash points and get cash out, and you can still survive it. But in the future, you're not going to be able to save technological blackouts if put in electrical blackouts to one side.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, a blackout's a blackout, as in it's like, and we already are digital. And don't forget, Jeff, we probably are the last generation, right? I think we're the last generation who can still remember going to a phone box and putting like 2p and 5p in the phone box to make a phone call, right?
Yeah.
We can still remember blue envelopes coming from Bangladesh or Pakistan or India, airmail, right? We can still remember
blue envelopes with a red border.
Yeah, and we can still remember 50p in a meter, right? We can still remember. So we're the last of this generation, right? The next generation after us and the one after them, all they've experienced is digital. It's a rarity kids get any cash these days, isn't it?
Of course, but I think personally, my prediction is going to be we're going to go back to the primitive way because something disastrous is going to happen when there's all of this technology, and that's going to take us back to the way. That's going to take us back to the way life used to be. And imagine trying to go back, Ammar. Like our generation, we're going to be able to, but the new generation,
I know how to change a plug.
Yeah.
I know that sounds crazy, right? And for lots of people, it was like, well, so what? But I know how to change a plug, and that to me is like special.
You know how to defeather a chicken?
What?
You know how to defeather and deskin a chicken?
Yeah, I do actually. I've done that. Would I do it? Don't know. But I'll give it a go. I've got a generator at home, talking about electricity.
Yeah.
I went and bought one a few years back.
Did not buy
what?
Did not buy a few. Yeah.
So I'm ready to sell them, but anyway, so them type of things. It's everything's demand led, isn't it? Everything's like pointless or useless. Like I keep looking at this gas cooker with couple of gas canisters that I've got, and it's like it's probably about that big. It's got 2 rings on it, and it connects to a Calagas. It's brand new. It's like it opens up a lid. I've never used it, and every time I go into the garage and the shelf, I look at it, and I've had it for about, I don't know, 10 years or whatever it is. And I look at it and I go, I must get rid of that. It's just taking up lots of space. And then I think to myself, well, imagine if like something happened.
I don't think you should get rid of it. I think it's definitely.
No, obviously not. I probably should be buying more gas canisters is what I should be. is the thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, coming back to this news, this is an interesting story here. just talking about AI and everything else, right? So we've just had this big debate. And the second bullet point headline news was OpenAI strikes a 38 billion. I mean, it's mad, isn't it? People talk about billions now, like we used to talk about millions. You know, as kids growing up, it was like million. Like, oh my gosh, a million. Billions and trillions just roll off. Someone's going to get paid £1 trillion. £1 trillion. That is ridiculous. That's our GD. That's how much we spend. The government spends a year in the UK is £1 trillion.
Yeah.
He's going to get paid for the whole of the UK. He's going to get paid the same as what we spend. Mad. Anyway, coming back to this, a big short investor, Michael Burry, places 1.1 billion bet against leading AI stocks. Jalf.
Okay.
So Michael Burry, known for predicting the 2007 financial crash, has placed a 1.1 billion bet against Nvidia and Palantir, signaling his belief that the booming AI sector is entering bubble territory. His hedge fund bought large put option positions on both companies, coinciding with a broader market pullback and rising volatility. Despite Nvidia's $1 trillion valuation and Palantir's rapid 360% surge, Burry warned Onyx that the only winning move is not to play. Palantir CEO dismissed the short as crazy, while other Wall Street leaders also suggested a market correction may be looming. So I've said to next year, end of next year, there's going to be some financial challenges. 7th of November 2025, 10:47, recorded live on Spice FM. Jalf and Ammar, well, Jalf didn't say anything. Ammar said there will be a financial challenge in the quarter 3 and 4 of next year. Remember this?
Yeah. I mean, to what type of financial? Are you talking about where you get up in the morning and your bank accounts have all got nil money in them? That kind of a level?
No, I wouldn't want to scare anyone to that extent. I'm talking about there is, looking at the financial cycles and the challenges, and everything goes round in a circle, including life and including the world, right? I know that sounds a bit like, oh, really? Everything goes up and then down, or round and round, including financial and economic cycles. So they're predicting, and they get shorter and shorter and shorter as well, because we're moving faster and faster, and innovations happening faster and faster. So there are a number of challenges and concerns. But I mean, potentially that might happen given the level of risks associated with data breaches. Jalf, you would be shocked at how much and how many data breaches and hacks are going on behind the scenes every single day. Every single day. And in particular, government type systems. Right? So the technology is advancing every year, every day, every hour, but on both sides. So could there be zero in people's banks if there was a hack, if there was a concerted effort? You know, as in all of these James Bond. I mean, look, Jalf, I don't know if you ever watched Jack Bauer in 24.
Yeah.
Right? It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. But actually, that's played out. Those things have sort of happened, haven't they? You know, as in, not to the extent, but certainly in different ways and forms. I mean, even some of the stuff that's happening on James Bond, or, you know, Stark, Iron Man, and whatever else. Is that not what Elon Musk sort of, you know, would like to be? Iron Man.
Yeah, I think so. I think Elon Musk's probably going to be like one of those villains in the Bond movies where he's like got his own country and that country is like it's like a force field in an island of a country and no one can get to him and you know I can see that I can see Elon like that in the 60s.
Um, anyway, you can't say things like that. He's a very decent chap. He's our Elon, and
We love Elon.
and and good on him getting such a pay day and such like. It's mad, isn't it? Anyway, business topic of the week. Um, Something's 2 weeks to go here. I don't know what 2 weeks to go, Jamie, but a small business website converts when it guides visitors smoothly from first impression to action. It's not just about design, it's about clarity, trust, and ease of use. Here are the key elements: strong first impression, simple navigation, clear calls to action, trust signals, mobile friendly and fast, conversion focused content, and ongoing testing and improvements. And actually, if you want one, Jamie and Stephen and the team here can really help you with your website as well. The next Curry Club is happening on the 20th of November, so a couple of weeks' time, back at Airview. Jeff, you'll have to come.
I'll have to come along 100%.
It's like they're brilliant, and at Airview as well. So spaces are limited. Make sure you secure it. It's 5:30 till 8 p.m. It'll be the last Curry Club of the year before we have a celebration event for winners and supporters in December. And actually, there is also a full schedule of events and activities planned for 2026. If you do want to identify how you're going to improve your business and get the support that you need, then you reach out. You need to join AB Connections. There will be a proper membership introduced, as well as a free continued membership for those who can't afford to, who just want to be connected and part of the most inclusive community that exists and be part of something special as well. Jeff, what's happening? So good result. I mean, Newcastle, we haven't spoken about Newcastle, have we? In any depth or detail?
Yeah, I think it's a curious season because we're doing really well in the Champions League. I think we are, is it fourth or fifth in the Champions League table out of 32 teams?
Yeah,
which is really, that. Really good going. In the Premier League, though, which is our bread and butter, we're struggling with our away form. I think it all stems from Isak, Ammar, because he's like left so acrimoniously. We didn't have any strikers. The first couple of games against Villa and I think it was Liverpool, we would have ordinarily won if all the stuff wasn't going on with him. So we've kind of bit behind and we're not been settled. Wissa's injured. Voltemada wasn't supposed to come and play as much as he's done because he needed a bedding in period because he's new to the Premier League. So there's lots of mitigating circumstances. Hopefully we get a win this Sunday against Brentford and then we'll just continue our cup run because, look, if you imagine that we can win one of the big cups, whether it be Carabao, FA Cup or Champions League, and we're kind of 6th or 7th in the league, I think we'll accept it because, winning is winning at the end of the day and the league table is the league table. So I think, look, we have to trust in Eddie and trust in the new CEO, David Hopkinson, because there's a lot of changes that's happening at the club. Hopefully it's going to be very positive. Peter Silverstone, the commercial director, I think he's done really well for the club. Personally, I know him. He's a really good man. Lovely family. And unfortunately, I'm sad to see him go on a personal note.
Yeah, I am. He was I mean, his son played football with our son. His wife's a lovely person. So yeah. We know them personally. And I thought he was really, really good for the club.
Yeah. And obviously, the new CEO has come in. He's probably got his own ideas, and I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I think something obviously didn't align, and decided to part company. I mean, he's got a fantastic new opportunity because he's going to be the commercial director at Juventus, which is
Yeah.
which is no mean feat. I mean, fantastic historical football club,
Yeah.
probably the commercial appeal. So on a personal note for him, I think it's great. I think he's going to go there early Jan to Juventus. Um, so so there's a lot of changes happening. I hope that they make some big announcements with a new training facility. Hopefully, they announce the new stadium, which I think we need, Ammar. We need a brand new, um, you know, stadium, which should be the world's best stadium with about 65,000 seats. 13, 14, 15,000 more than the capacity at the moment. So I think all of those things are really important. One thing that I am concerned about is if you try and create a football club and you become too corporate because of the financial gain of that, I just think the soul of the club is going to be lost. And that's so important to retain the soul of the club by having the raw fans in there. And I can spot them in Champions League matches and stuff. Because of the cost of tickets, I just feel that you feel that the noise levels are not as it should be. And why is that? And I think that's really concerning.
It is, and the fact that he wants to, he's been charged with adding 100 million per season,
Yeah,
like as of next season, and that's what he's planning to do. It's quite significant. I mean, he's got the conversations with Visa. He's looking at Amazon. So that from that perspective, I think that's good. I think you're absolutely right. When it's purely commercially driven, it has an impact with the fans. And don't forget, football is there for the fans, and we've seen what that done with the era that was preceding PIF. It was like shocking, wasn't it?
yeah. I mean, PIF, look, we're fortunate to have PIF as our owners. They've been brilliant in terms of where they've taken the club to, and they've got ambitions to take it further, and we're really grateful. I think I've been to other stadiums around the world, Ammar, from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where everyone keeps on saying it's the best. I don't think it is personally. The seats are really
No, what?
small. Your knees are very close to the seat in front. Whereas if you go to the Emirates, even in the away end, the seats are more comfortable. The knee room is good. They've thought about the people and what's nice for them a lot more than what they've done at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. When you go to the Etihad, it's a former Commonwealth Stadium. They have made it work really, really well because they made some changes. It's not like the Olympic Stadium where it just feels like a athletic stadium. But out of all the stadiums, and I've been to the ones in Qatar and around the world, shiny, flashy stadiums, brilliant. But without the soul and spirit of the fans, the stadiums aren't anything really.
No,
So
they're not. Anyway, we're coming to the end of the show, and yeah, we'll do a bit of a deeper. We might even organise an interview with David and get him on the show.